Hello and welcome to Subculture. I'm your host Jarrod.
And I'm Edwina.
And if you're listening to this is our Once More We're Feeling series on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Today, season finale, Eddie. Season 5, episode 22, The Gift. This episode first aired May 22nd, 2000 and directed by some people that I forgot to write the name to. So I'm pretty sure it was Joss Whedon, though, wasn't it?
This is a Joss...
Joss written directed.
Joss wrote and directed this one.
May 22nd, 2001. Did I say that?
Yeah.
I did. Okay. Sorry. And over to you, Eddie.
This is a full spoiler podcast. I'm a huge fan, but Jarrod has never watched the series all the way through, and I'm trying to convince him it's worth his time.
I've watched this series all the way through.
Season.
Well, this series. Series.
So far,
5.
Yes, we're up to we are at the end of season 5.
Yes.
The Gift, which is a bit of a doozy.
Yeah, it was.
A lot
died.
happens. Yes.
Again.
Yes. We have another season final where Buffy dies.
It's almost be expected at this point, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, I think this was written as a series final because the show was always on the verge of being cancelled, but it changed networks.
Right. So was that...
So I think it must have been cancelled and then brought back on a different
Were they
network.
aware of this, or was that...
Oh, I think there was always this weird... It has to do with the CW and UPN.
I think you're right, that day did have some sort of contract or something going on.
Yeah, there was always something going on there, and
some
then
transfer handover they were going to do.
Yeah,
because I was reading somewhere that they were advertising the series finale of Buffy on WB.
Yeah,
which meaning it was leaving Warner Brothers. Yeah.
All of that weird changing
the guard. With some irony, I think those two companies ended up merging in the end, didn't they?
I have no idea. I just remember I just remember there was some changing of networks.
Yeah. But I think the networks did end up merging some kind. Yeah. I read somewhere.
Yeah. And pretty much Angel went to another station, which meant it became incredibly more difficult to do crossover episodes.
Because they're all contracted to different studios and all that.
Or
would it be the same studios but different? It would be some sort of weird complication between the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're contracted to that station.
So season final, and this is also the 100th episode of Buffy.
100 episodes.
Yes.
Does this mean we've done 100 episodes of Buffy? Oh, we already passed that, didn't we?
Yeah, we way past 100.
Oh, we've passed 100 episodes, but not 100 episodes of Buffy.
No.
Because we have done a few double episodes.
Yeah, we've done a few double episodes, so I don't think we're quite at...
No. We'll have to have an announcement for that.
And I'll say that I'll go back to when I watched this back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Talking of it, well, it felt like a series final.
Were you aware of anything that was going... When you saw that, were you like, oh shit, is that it? Is that the end of it?
I honestly thought it was the end of the show. Like I was like, oh my God, that's the end of the show. It's done. There's no more. But it's not like it is these days where a series will end and then you're waiting 2-3 years before the next season and you've completely forgotten about what happened in the last season.
Yeah.
We only had to wait, I think it was like 5 months. But I think there was like an article or something in like TV Week.
It spilled the beans. But this would have come out a lot later. Like it was May that this aired in America, but this would have come out a lot later in Australia, I believe.
I think they were pretty on par. Like it was only maybe a couple of weeks difference. But yeah, well, mainly because I think this was sort of around about the time of the internet.
Yeah.
The internet being more accessible. So yeah.
I distinctly remember Emily talking about it with her friends.
Oh, okay.
What it was actually, it was Willow's face on an episode of Angel. Because I think she appears in Angel.
Yeah, okay. So similar to what happened on Buffy where you had the 4-episode arc at the end of the season, they had a very similar 4-episode arc where they go to where they actually travel to another dimension.
Right.
And just as they get back from the dimension, you see Willow sitting in the Hyperion, which is their sort of base of operations.
With a very, very sad face.
And yeah, with a glum-looking face. And that's how, season...
I remember what he says. He looks at her like, Willow? And then he looks at her and he's like, Buffy.
Yeah.
Willow? It's Buffy.
That was like 20 years ago. I remember that. And the girl's like, oh, Willow's face on Angel.
Yeah. And there... Oh, it was funny. I had to pull you up on this because you skipped all the... you skipped the previous Leon.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Accidentally.
And I was like, no. You actually have to watch this previous Leon. And I'm saying it deliberately like previous Leon.
Previous Leon, yep.
Which is a joke from Rick and Morty. So previous Leon, it takes clips from every single... Like, I think you've got the intro of each character.
Yep.
And then it
does like a one frame of every...
Yeah, and then there's like one
episode.
Frame of every single episode, and it gets faster and faster. So the clips get shorter and shorter as it goes along. And it's a great little editing clip. Like, so yeah, the editor did a really good job. Like, he went all out on his previous Leon.
Previous Leon, grab him!
Yeah, gonna call out that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a cool little... Well, I don't know whether they did it because it was going to be because it was the 100th episode, because it goes for a full minute, that clip as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether it's supposed to be like a shout out for it being the 100th episode, or whether it's sort of a little, this is everything leading up to this moment in time. Like, there's lots of symbolism.
A bit of both, I'd
behind
say.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And probably the big thing about this episode is that there's foreshadowing for this in Graduation Day Part 2, with the Faith told her Little Miss Muffet counting down from 730. And it's the 730 days before...
This episode.
And it
actually was.
And then in Restless, when a clock reads 7:30 and Tara said it was completely wrong since one whole year had passed.
Yeah, and on a previous episode, I counted the days, and it is exactly 730 days from that episode to this episode. Yeah. Real days. And that's counting the leap years. And so I was doing it at first and I wasn't adding up. I'm like, what am I missing here? Because I counted the first year, didn't just count it every year, but not realizing there was some leap years in here. So I'm like, it's not working out. But that is absolutely true. 730 days.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to do a quick summary and get back to it? Yep. Okay. In an alley, a boy faces a vampire and is saved by Buffy's arrival. At the Magic Box, we pick up where the last episode left off as they discuss the Key and Glory's plan. Giles suggests drastic measures, but Buffy refuses to consider sacrificing her sister. During this discussion, they realise they only need to stall Glory to keep Dawn safe. Anya encourages a brainstorming session on all the things they can use to slow Glory down, coming up with some very useful ideas. As the group prepares, Buffy and Giles reflect on their roles in saving the world, and Buffy feeling burdened by the constant demands of her duty. While looking for the Dagon Sphere to use against Glory, Xander proposes to Anya. Buffy explores magical options with Willow, planning to weaken Glory and reverse Tara's condition. With the Dagon Sphere retrieved and a few other tricks up their sleeve, they gear up for the final confrontation. As the time approaches, the gang follows Tara to Glory's tower. Glory is unhappy to see Tara, and Willow surprises her with a spell that restores Tara's mind and weakens Glory. The battle ensues with Buffy throwing the Dagon Sphere at Glory. Glory decapitates Buffy, revealing the Buffy bot's ruse. The real Buffy strikes back, aided by her friend's distraction.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
At the top of the tower, Dawn faces Doc. Despite Spike's best efforts to save her, he is thrown from the tower. Buffy beats Glory with a troll hammer till she reverts to Ben. She doesn't finish the job and tells him to leave town. Doc at the top of the tower cuts Dawn and opens a portal. Giles chooses to kill Ben to prevent Glory from seeking revenge. As Dawn's blood opens the portal, Buffy realises her true purpose. She sacrifices herself, closing the portal and saving the world, leaving her friends to mourn her loss. The last shot is of a tombstone that reads, "She saved the world a lot." The end.
Yes. So, of course, I bawl my eyes out every time I watch this episode.
Oh, you didn't cry the other night.
I did too. I had little tears in my eyes. I think
did you?
I think it's when you see I think it's Spike's reaction to it.
I wasn't sure. Did he fall over because he was breaking down or because sunlight was hitting him?
Oh no, that's indirect sunlight.
Okay, right, yeah. So I was rewatching it because at the first time I thought it was like a breakdown of him collapsing. Then when I rewatched it again, I suddenly realised, oh, actually, I think sunlight was hitting him. That's why he fell to the ground.
No, that kind of sunlight doesn't, like, it's a convenience thing at this point.
Yeah.
That sort of sunlight.
Maybe both?
No, generally they just kind of forget sometimes he's actually a vampire.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just him breaking down from the fact that Buffy died. He also failed to save Dawn. So it's kind of a bit of guilt. She's pretty much had to sacrifice herself because he failed to save Dawn.
So he kind of wears the burden of that.
Yeah, well, it's not like he didn't try, but Doc was this weird. This is also why I don't really like it. Like, he comes out of nowhere. Like, he's been in one episode. Two episodes prior to this. You don't see him go up. He's just, all of a sudden, he's there.
Just teleports it. But he kind of was teleporting a bit when Spike was fighting him. Wasn't he kind of like...
No, he wasn't teleporting.
You sure? Like, it seemed like he was like in front of him, then behind him. Like, I know it might have been like fast kung
I think
fu.
he's just fast. I think that was the whole
is that
thing.
it? Okay.
Yeah. He's kind of a very weird element that they throw into the mix.
Well, if you got Glory on the ground being beaten, then you couldn't have her up there, and then I think that was too confusing, so they had to throw some sort of minion. And her minions are too weak and pathetic to pull a move like that, maybe, so they needed like a third party to...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Back her up a little bit. Yeah.
It wasn't really her. Like, the moment Buffy gets up there, he's dead.
Yeah.
But he manages to best Spike, which is a bit weird because you've seen Buffy and Spike fight before and they're normally pretty on par with each other.
Evenly matched, yeah.
And then, she just walks past and pushes him off the tower.
Didn't try her tongue thing on her.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I always find it really weird.
Well, it's not like Glory isn't even aware of him because they never.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. You've never seen them interact. Like, it wasn't like she was talking to him prior.
Yeah.
He's just there and decides to. Even though Glory's dead at by the time he starts cutting Dawn.
Yeah.
So it would have been good if he had a better motive that he was also from a hell dimension and wanted to go home.
At least shown a connection between the two, that she was aware of him and he was helping her. I
actually have a motive because there's nothing in it for him to.
Well, maybe he just wanted the hell dimension on Earth. I mean, if at least shown that he was part of the plan, then that would have made sense because he doesn't really need a motive. He's just evil. Yeah, he just wants it to happen. But then he's just thrown in there with no relation to Glory or anyone. So almost a third party in the sense that he wanted it for his own reasons. He just wanted the Glory to win, not because he supported Glory necessarily, but because...
Oh, no. That was... He was like...
Oh, he did, but it seemed like...
It's like, I'm a Glory worshipper, so therefore I'm going to let her go home and destroy this universe.
Yeah.
I don't know. As I said, I hate this. I hate the fact that they have to build this stupid freaking tower. Somehow it's the mind sucked. They get the mind sucked
people to build it.
Psych ward people to build it. How on earth does that work?
They built it pretty quickly too.
Yeah, they did build it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It just the fact that the portal is like so high up in this. Like, why is the portal in such a hard to get to place? What happens if what if the monks had turned her into, like, instead of turning her into a person, like they'd turned her into I don't know, like some sort of object, like a cup.
A cup, yeah.
Like
the Holy Grail.
Like, how do you get blood out? Like, it's almost reading that she needed to be turned into a human all along. Like, was it all like a predetermined...
Well, as if if the monks found the key, they would have to turn the key into a human for the ritual to work.
Yeah.
Or an animal. Maybe just turn it into a dog or something. Why make it a human?
So, because Buffy's not going to protect a dog with her
life.
Like,
well, she's not going to shoot it.
well, we're not going into that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. The fact that it's this key, that there's a reason why you call something a key, because it opens something very specific, and this just seems to open. It
I know,
breaks down the walls of everything. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
more
know,
like
yeah.
it's more like an atom bomb than a key. Like it doesn't make sense
it
to
seems
call
to
it
be
a
more like
key.
a weapon of mass destruction than an actual device.
Like
to
a
open
key
another
opens
device.
a doorway. It doesn't tear down. Like, and the other thing is, like, Angel does dimension traveling all the time.
Does he use someone's blood to open it?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's done through like physics, like
Science.
Science. Like I think it's sort of a mix of science and magic.
Yes, science.
Yeah, Angel does it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why. Why they have to do this weird portal sky destruction of universe.
Sky Vortex, yeah. Sky Vortex is just more cinematic, I guess.
Yeah.
And Marvel just love their Sky
Oh,
Vortex.
they love a sky beam.
Sky Beam.
Sky beam. It's not quite a sky beam, as you said. It's like just a vortex. Yeah. I just hate this whole don't call it a key. Like, call it something else. Like it's not a key.
I know. Look, we've been over this in the last episode, so I don't want to feel like we're going in circles here a little bit, but yeah.
But also the fact that they have to, it's also in like a really inconvenient spot. And it's all very, also the fact that they can only do it at a very specific time.
Yeah.
So it has to be done at a very specific time and place. How is that time, like, how did they know that place would be in Sunnydale where Dawn is?
Well, there was no map or anything like that. That was
Well,
sort of...
that's what those guys were doing. They was throwing the runes to work out when and where it was all happening.
Ah, right.
Like the minions. Yeah. Nothing about this.
So what if it
season.
was like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean or something like that? That it could be kind of screwed,
exactly.
wouldn't they?
Yeah. As I said, nothing about this season really makes a lot of sense. Like, Glory is a great, great big bad.
Yeah.
But she is wasted with this plot line.
It's funny how you mentioned being the big bad. We haven't had a vampire as a big bad for a while, have we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only time you get the vampire as the big bad is season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, vampires aren't really... What did I hear someone call them? They're almost like the putties in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like they're just...
Those little guys running around making those dribbling noises. It was funny, the start of this episode, or the first shot was him, was Buffy killing a vampire, which seemed quite weird.
Yeah, and you know why?
Like, with everything is going on and you're killing a vampire?
I was actually going to bring that because that is one of my talking points, is that alleyway scene. It's just to be a little reminder of the original core ideology of the show.
I kind of guessed that, yeah.
Which is meant to be, that subverting your expectations, where you have your victim and the prey, and you have Buffy pretending to be all sweet and innocent.
Yeah, I know. What are you doing here? I'm going to kill you. Oh, I'd like to see you
no,
try.
No. It's kind of the, you're, are you guys out here in a fight? Because that's bad. She's sort of doing this real naive little act to the point where the guy's like, get out of here. Like the guy's just trying to rescue.
You should leave now, little girl.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she even said, "Oh, I'm just a girl."
No, he says that. He's like, oh, but it is that reminder that, yeah, she is just a girl. But, she's spent the past, probably not as much this season, but especially up into season 3 was a lot of her trying to do a balance her human and Slayer life. I suppose it was a bit in season 4 as well.
Yeah.
Like finding that balance of being able to live her life as a human and her life in, as a Slayer.
Yeah.
And finding that balance and letting herself be just a girl.
Yeah.
And, and just be a normal girl. And she has fought trying to be just the normal girl. But at this point, she's like, yeah, I'm not just a fucking girl.
It just seemed like the urgency was there. Like, aren't we like trying to stop the end of the world? Like, do we have time for this? I was kind of under the impression, like almost, is this a flashback or something maybe? Like, are you doing this now? Are we about to...
No, it's just meant to be that she's just heard a ruckus in the back alleyway. She's still the Slayer. She's still she hasn't been out patrolling in like 4 days or something.
Can it wait till tomorrow if there's going to be one?
Yeah, except that there was a guy about to be eaten in the back alleyway.
Yeah, priorities
behind her shop.
Priorities.
Well, there's not much that they can do anyway. They're busy arguing about whether they killed Dawn. Like, I think that was...
Her going outside for some fresh air. Oh, Miles to save this guy.
I'm pretty sure she was probably just out there getting some air. And, yeah.
What are the odds?
And these guys come running into her alleyway. Not quite, but yeah. But as I said, it's meant to be like kind of a reminder, sort of also like the first scene of the episode with Darla.
Yeah. Playing homage to,
Yeah.
the whole series, because this may be the last episode. We don't know. It could be.
Yeah. And also to remind you that she's just a girl. The weight of the world on her shoulders.
Every time I hear that, I hear a little guitar riff. Dun, 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 dun.
I always hear that. I'm just a girl.
She
the Malibu,
sure is.
The Malibu Stacy. Let's bake cookies for the boys.
Let's bake some cookies for the boys.
So, my next talking point is actually about Giles and Buffy and the conversation around killing Dawn.
Which he says, she's not your sister.
Yes. So they have this, and he gets very aggressive with Buffy, going, Buffy's like, I'm not talking about this. We're not doing this. That's not an option. And Giles is like, yeah, we fucking,
It bloody well is.
Bloody well are talking about this. And she's pretty much tell me to kill her. Just, you tell me to kill my sister.
She's not your sister.
Yeah, and he's sort of like, well, she's not your sister. That's not really the point. I think it's the fact that she is sick of being in that situation where these are the choices that she has to make. Like, we've already seen her have to kill Angel to save the world.
Yeah.
And that just about destroyed her. And she brings that up. She's lost her mum. Riley's left her. Like,
who? Oh, Riley. Yeah.
Yeah. We forgot he was in this season. Do not miss that guy. But yeah, but he, like, the reason why he left was because she was closed off. The Slayer has hardened her. And it is that thing where she's finding that she has to get harder and harder and close herself off. The fact I think she knows that if she has to kill Dawn, she loses her humanity if she has to do that.
Because she can't kill a human.
Well, that then comes in. The next thing is that they talk about the other option is killing Ben. And it's just as bad, really. Like, it's
yeah, well,
because they are actually both two innocents forced into this, they're both, what do you call them?
They're not in the situation from choices that they've made.
Yeah.
They've got no agency where they've just been thrown into these situations without their control or without any, decision, as I said, decisions that they've had to make.
Yeah.
So it is kind of sad on that part that the options are to kill one of these two people who really haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Just other than existing.
And that is probably the saddest part about, the ending when Giles actually kills Ben.
And he says that he's going to do it because Buffy's not that type of person.
Buffy won't do it, yeah.
Because she's not that type of person to kill someone, which she has. Plenty of times.
She's done it plenty of times.
In fact, like a couple episodes ago, she killed a couple of blokes on horses.
Yeah.
With a sword.
They don't matter because they're from the Knights of Bezithian or whatever, so they don't count apparently.
Yeah. But there's been plenty of other people she's killed as well.
Yeah, there have been.
Yeah. What is it? Do they keep forgetting? Is it like a glory trick everyone sort
They're
of has
never,
on them?
you know what? It's never it's one of those things where it's always someone who dies, like they die attacking her or doing something, it's something that they sort of inflict on themselves, that it's kind of their so-called choice. It's sort of like that they chose to attack Buffy and Buffy has retaliated and it's ended in death.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like the first season, she actually killed quite a lot of humans in that season.
Yeah, it's... I don't know.
Like I'm thinking the hyena priest, the Amy's mum, the witch.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't really trapped in a statue.
Yeah.
Kind of killed. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of.
Anyway, there's a few. We've talked about the ones
Yeah.
that she's killed before.
But it still keeps coming up though. Like we're in the season 5, and well, you shouldn't kill people, Buffy. That's really bad, you know. But sometimes you have to.
yeah.
So
Well, the difference is that Ben wasn't attacking her.
no,
Gloria was.
yeah.
But
But surely she must have known you can't leave Glory alive. Like that wasn't.
well, the whole thing was just keeping. She just had to slow her down until the time had passed, and
And she would just trot off on her own, never to
Yeah.
be seen again.
Probably not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Even the good guys are
Though-
quite vengeful and spiteful. So you think about an evil one. What are they going to do?
Yeah. Well, I think Giles does realise that. I don't think Giles ever actually tells her that he killed Ben.
So they're not even aware of her or his death.
Well, no, she wouldn't be aware of it because she dies.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
they do bring her back. You know that.
Really?
Well, there's another.
Spoiler.
There's another 2 seasons, and they do. Yeah, they do actually bring her back.
They didn't change it to Willow the Vampire Slayer.
Well, that's the thing. Back in those days, that's why I thought it was also a full-on end of series, is because you couldn't kill off the main character and continue on the TV show, which a lot of TV shows do now. Like you can kill off a main character and continue it on.
That happens a lot, especially if they tweet something nasty.
Especially if they get cancelled.
Luckily, they don't have Twitter. Like the Roseanne show.
Yeah.
It's when they killed her character. Did they kill her off? Or I'm not sure what happened in the show.
I don't know, but yeah, they did continue it on.
It's still
without her.
going though.
Yeah.
The Connors, it's called
Yeah.
or something. And it's the show's still running.
Yep.
Amazing. Like 7 seasons or something they're into.
I haven't watched it.
I've never watched it. No, I just.
But
know
it has all the it has everyone else.
Yeah, everyone's
back.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it has absolutely everyone else except for Roseanne Barr.
Yeah. Not to go off on that tangent, but they kind of retconned that show because didn't John Goodman's character die?
Yeah, I think
in the original show?
I think they I don't know how they did it. I think they got rid of the whole last season that they did where they won the lottery.
Yeah. Did it turn out to be a dream or something? Or?
Well, it turned out it was like her writing a book
yeah.
or something, and the partners were swapped, and yeah, it was weird.
Right, yeah.
But most people discount. There's like an episode where they're on a train doing like Rambo. I remember like it like fully went batshit crazy in the last season.
Jumped the shark on that one.
Yeah. All right. Back to Buffy.
Back to Buffy, yep.
Yeah. So we're talking about the ethics of killing innocent people.
Oh, is there ethics in it? Ethics in killing
Well, it
innocent
also
people.
well.
This is going to be interesting.
Well,
Eddie.
no. Well, no. Well, it was raising the ethics of killing one to save the many.
Okay, we've done this so many times.
Yeah.
And
So we're back here again.
yeah, and
But yeah, anyway, Giles kills Ben, and I think it's actually quite a risky move for Giles to do that because he just does it by smothering him.
so Glory could have come back or something.
Yeah, what would have happened if Glory had have come back in that moment?
Should he have like just shot him or something maybe?
Yeah, pretty much anything other than doing the old hand smother, because if Glory had have come back at that moment, but she had been quite well pummeled. I think they had played their cards well in weakening her.
Yeah.
And she was quite badly, like, for her to revert back to Ben was, yeah. And Ben didn't look great either.
No.
Like,
So it's like he felt some of that too
yeah.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their physical bodies were sort of
Yeah. Like the walls between their...
breaking down something.
Yeah. Whatever was going on with their body sharing thing was breaking down already. So I'm guessing he must have been able to feel what she could feel physically and emotionally.
Because I'm tired of these games. I need time, I need a drink. You're a very needy little bloodsucker, and it's not very attractive.
Yeah. So, but Buffy is also really feeling that pressure. But the other thing that I wanted to explore was more about the fact that at the start of this season, Buffy wanted to really explore what it meant to be the Slayer.
Again?
At the start of the season.
Right. Yes. Yep.
And it's part of the reason that they managed to keep Giles around was, he was, they eventually get a bit sidetracked on that. With sort of just non-stop dramas happen to Buffy.
Yeah, life gets in the way.
Yeah,
I know about that.
Life got in the way, and she couldn't really complete her training that she was doing. And yeah, and over the course of the season, you know, it sort of became less and less important, but just more shitty thing after shitty thing kept happening to her. And I felt like she sort of becomes more nihilistic. And in this episode, she brings up, you know, apparently being the Slayer just means you're just a killer, which is what she had feared all along. Like, she was trying to prove that being the Slayer didn't mean that you're just a killer. But this is probably also why Slayers don't generally live as long as her, because I think if you live that life of a Slayer, like, you'd gradually get burnt out, or like you'd pretty much lose everything. Like, you've just always got to be putting other people first. Like,
well, there was that episode, the Weird Dimension one with Anya, where they did the world without Buffy in Sunnydale. And when we saw the Buffy character, she was like completely different. She was almost like a military soldier. Yeah. So completely cold and reckless, and that got her killed in the end too.
Yeah, it did.
So,
she wasn't. Also, she just had no ties to the world. That was what keeps her fighting. That's what makes her a good Slayer, is her ties to the world. But you see a version of Buffy without ties to the world, and she's nihilistic. But she's at this point where it's like, she's like, if I have to kill Dawn, my life is not going to be worth living, because I can't live with myself if I have to make those sort of choices. And that's what she's trying to explain to Giles. It's like, if Dawn dies, I'm done. Which probably also like, I have heard when people talking about this episode, it's hard to distinct, like, in this day and age. Back in the day, it's just her sacrificing herself. Now, when looking at it from a different perspective, is it sacrifice versus suicide? There's kind of this debate about it because of how nihilistic she becomes, where she's like, I won't be able to live if Dawn has to die.
It's actually something I was going to bring up, because apparently this did drum up a bit of controversy at the time from parents' groups about her suicide. Something I read about.
Not at all.
That's not true?
No.
How do you know?
Because I remember all the discourse around this. I was around at this time.
Maybe it wasn't as popular in Australia. This is in America maybe, so maybe it didn't happen here.
If there had been that kind of thing, there would have been a warning at the start of the episode.
Well, that was the other thing I was curious about. Was there a warning? And there is no warning or anything like that. I thought, something I read. I don't know how true it is. Maybe it's not true at all.
I don't think it's true at all. It wasn't seen as a suicide where it was, you know, her being super sad. It was like pretty much her sacrificing herself to save her sister.
I mean, okay, now we're sort of talking about suicide here, and that's such a taboo topic in this day and age, and it's kind of weird. You think we're kind of more open to talk about this stuff now than we were some time ago, but it seems like that you can't talk about. But there's plenty of like instances in films where characters do that, and think of like Armageddon. You know, spoiler alert: Bruce Willis saved himself at the end because the machine wouldn't go off and the someone was there to push it. Yeah. So that was a suicide, but it's not a bad suicide. Like, he didn't just like.
But again, there's, as I said, is it sacrifice versus suicide?
Well, you know, he did commit suicide in a sense, but it wasn't in a negative way. Maybe it's like a positive suicide, if you want to say it like that. Which is
what sacrifice is.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, they do commit suicide. I mean, if you want to say they killed themselves, but they didn't just kill themselves just out of depression or something like that. It was a sacrifice, which makes it all different, as you say, a sacrifice. Yeah. But it's still suicide, though.
I don't know whether I agree with that.
Or yeah,
that's why I have this sacrifice versus suicide, because you're saying all, but what you're saying is that all sacrifice.
Well, they are kind of, aren't they? Really, they are ending their own lives. There's something to ponder about. So even like in The Expanse, there was that scene with Miller where he sacrificed himself. Yeah, and there's always that scene in a movie where the bomb button doesn't work and someone has to push it in order for everyone to get out. I think Dollhouse did that as well. Did that happen in Dollhouse? I think something similar happened with that guy from Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he did something. He did something similar. It was that scenario where he had to.
He also had a lot of guilt because he created the
Yeah.
Pretty much, he created the technology that destroyed the world.
Well, no, he didn't create it. He just made it better. It was already there. From memory, because they could already do that transfer thing, but he found a quicker way to do it. But then someone else worked out you could just do it through audio cues. You could just transmit it. And he's like, why didn't I think of that? Anyway, suicide versus sacrifice. That's something to think about.
Well, because sacrifice isn't necessarily always death. It's like you might have to kill something or give up something.
Exactly, yeah.
When you sacrifice yourself, self-sacrifice. Or you sacrifice yourself. So Buffy sacrifices herself to save Dawn. So she gives up her life to save Dawn's life.
Well,
maybe that's the difference, is that suicide is when you're just ending your life. You're not doing it for a greater cause.
Well, could Jesus be a sacrifice?
He is a sacrifice.
Yeah, that wasn't suicide,
they say
though.
that all the time.
Yeah, but that wasn't suicide.
Well, he probably could have gotten out of it if he really wanted to.
Yeah, he could have just said, actually, you know what? I'm not the Messiah. I'm just a very naughty boy.
Maybe he could have gotten out of it. Said, be like what? Hey, Dad, beam me up. No, what is he? He has to die for it. I don't know my religion.
They're all sort of spawned by some sort of martyr, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, is she a martyr then?
Well, no, because she's not really dying for a cause.
Saving the world's a pretty good cause, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not like there's two sides. It's really just Glory and Buffy.
Good and evil?
Good and evil. Yeah, she's not really a martyr.
No.
There needs to be a cause behind it before she can be a martyr. So, we go back to the message that the first Slayer said to her about death is your gift. And the duality of that, because you could read that has a few different, can have two different meanings behind it, in that death is the gift that she gives the world to save it, or death is the gift that she gives herself.
So a gift can be either given or received.
Yeah, so it could be something that she gives herself to end that sort of turmoil that she is in. Like, she doesn't want to have to keep being the Slayer, pretty much. She's sick of being the Slayer. So that could be something to think about.
Yeah, well, that's sort of leading back into the suicide
leaning
a
back
little
into
bit.
the suicide a little
She had
bit.
enough. She saw it wane out.
Well, look, she literally just came out of a catatonic state.
Well, how did she know that jumping into that thing would stop it?
Something about the blood. It's always about the blood. The monks made her out of Buffy's blood. She has Summer's blood. To be honest, this is another really stupid thing. She doesn't know that it's going to close it. She could have just jumped off there and then it didn't close, and then Dawn would have had to have jumped anyway.
So that was a gamble.
It was, pretty much. But she was quite certain. Oh, look, she also has that prolific vision thing that she can do as well. And I think the Slayer saying death is your gift probably was sort of her, oh, actually, I'm the one that has to close this portal.
Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Death is your gift.
Okay, next topic. So Buffy's at peace watching that sunrise. So it's sunrise. So it's the dawn. I think that might have also been why she knew that was her, like that was part of that dream as well or something, I think. She dies at dawn, for dawn. Death is her gift to the world.
Before dawn, at dawn,
at dawn,
for dawn.
For dawn.
Some symbolism there, I guess.
Also, everyone plays a part in the defeat of Glory. Like, everyone played a little part. Even Xander, who seems like pretty useless, hits her with the wrecking ball. Like, they pull out all the stops to slow her down in this.
Yeah.
It starts with Willow doing the spell, which weakens her. Then
and revives Tara's memories.
Yeah, and it also gives Tara back her power, because that used the spell to clear the people so that Spike can get up into the tower.
Anya, what was she doing? Well, she came up with the ideas.
She came up with most of the ideas, to be honest.
The Dagon sphere.
I think she also came up with using the Buffy bot as well. That was the nice
the off-screen idea.
The little off-screen
bait and switch.
And switch.
It's funny when she came on, because she didn't act like the Buffy bot.
Yeah.
Because the Buffy bot sort of acts really ditzy and
Yeah.
and convoluted, I guess, in the way that she acts. So not to give away to the audience that it was the Buffy bot. So we would have worked it out straight away. Maybe Glory wouldn't have worked it out, but we would have.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't do much talking. She sort of says one or two lines, then throws the Dagon sphere at her, and then she immediately breaks the Dagon sphere, which probably wasn't a good idea to throw it at her.
It did something to her, though, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, I think it helped in weakening her. So you've got the Buffy bot in there. Then Buffy steps in, but that's when Xander uses the wrecking ball on her.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the joke earlier on.
Oh, he's a good bowler, was it?
Yeah,
Something?
it was like, oh, he's just a glorified bricklayer. And I think he says something, I'm not just a bricklayer, I'm a swell bowler too.
Yeah, he's got his own shoes or something.
Yeah, well, that's what Anya says. He has his own shoes and everything. So, yeah, it's kind of a little callback to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were all kind of...
Everyone helped out. Giles
kills Ben.
kills Ben. I was just thinking, what did he do? Oh, and I thought Anya almost died then.
Well, I had heard a rumour.
I think I saw the same one that she was going to die, but she kept moving.
They were meant to kill her, but she kept moving in that last shot. And then I'm like, oh, bullshit. If bloody Joss wanted her dead,
she would have been
She
dead.
would have been dead.
And not moving, because she actually looks up and
She
opens
looks
her
up
eye.
and opens her eyes and
And looks around. Yeah, it's not like it was an accidental.
And is saddened by the sight of Buffy's body. Like it's yeah. I kind of feel that one's a bit.
I think
bullshit.
that was said jokingly at some sort of convention is where I read that. I don't know, but yeah, it might have just been said, oh, we're going to kill her, but she kept bloody moving, you know. And,
Yeah.
funny, and then it ends up as fact.
Yeah. I think someone was always going to have to die, and I think they were tossing up between it being Buffy and Dawn.
I don't think it would have been as climactic as it had it been Dawn.
No, I don't think it would have worked if it was Dawn. It would have been like, oh yeah, great.
Something you probably should have done earlier.
She came and she went.
Yeah.
That was all kind of a pointless season, really.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just introduce this character and then kill her off at the end. That she's the reason for the big bad, and that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Now,
choice.
the other big thing that happens in this episode is Xander proposes to Anya.
Yes, right at the end. Oh, not at the
No,
end.
it's not at the end. It's at the middle.
While they're looking for the
Yeah.
Dagon sphere.
Yeah.
And Anya's freaked out by it, like, now? Really?
I don't blame her for
Yeah,
that.
I think that's fair enough. Like, the world's going to end and you're going to ask me to marry her
Anya.
now.
Yeah.
You want to marry me?
Lastly,
Yeah.
Spike in this episode gets almost a full redemption for acting like a complete creeper for the entire season.
Well, it shows persistence pays off, you know. If you
Yeah, it's that weird. Yeah. Anyway,
Lets him back in the
Buffy
house?
lets him back in the house. Yeah, he's kind of earned her respect a little bit. I think weirdly from the Buffy bot episode I think it was when he didn't give up Dawn to Glory.
Yeah.
And he found, he's helping at this point, and he doesn't have to be.
Yeah. His last few episodes. Well, he's been pretty much been with the gang the last 4 episodes, is it?
Yeah.
Even longer, maybe? I'm not sure.
Even longer, because, pretty much you have him getting beaten up. Tough love is when Tara gets her brain sucked.
Yeah.
And then you go into the arc of him in the RV. I kind of wished that episode where he kidnaps her and holds her hostage in a cave. Maybe that's probably a bit like this. And the Buffy bot. It's all, like maybe the Buffy bot episode needed to be a bit earlier.
Yeah.
It's like,
So it wasn't that long ago, was it? I guess.
it's not really that long ago that he's kind of been super creep guy.
Standing outside a house and yeah.
So,
Well, message to all those stalkers out there. Eventually, you may wear them down.
isn't that
Never give up.
Isn't that the kind of the most of those shows? You just wear them down. Like Big Bang Theory, I think was like that.
Well, I think I did mention this with Chachi,
Chachi
of Happy Days.
Yeah.
In their first interaction, which he pretty much tells them to piss off, and it became like a running joke of him trying to ask her out and her coming up with a witty way to tell him to piss off.
Yeah.
Then one day she just says, "Okay, sure." Then the series ends with them having a wedding.
Yeah.
And then they had their own spin-off show. Chachi loves.
Well, that's
something,
pretty
yeah.
much Big Bang is just Leonard pretty much wearing Penny down. Like the entire show.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. That's something, all right.
Yeah. All right. Had you seen this episode?
I can't remember more of the previous episode than this episode.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'd say what I would have seen this one. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you go down any rabbit holes? You haven't been down any rabbit holes for a while.
Yeah, I know. Well, I got one thing. Spike mentioned that really wasn't a St. Crispin's Day speech to Giles when he says this. I can't remember what did he say. He just said something very uninspirational.
It's pretty much you know what you need to do. Anyone goes near Dawn, I'll kill you. Yeah, it was pretty much the.
Yeah. Was it Buffy that said that?
Yeah. It was like okay. Buffy was like, if anyone tries to kill Dawn, I'll kill. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't a very St. Crispin's Day speech, apparently.
Yeah. Okay.
You know St. Crispin's Day?
I'm guessing it's some sort of Shakespearean play.
But St. Crispin's Day was like a religious holiday.
I didn't know that.
Okay. And also, the speech he's talking about is a reference to, yes, William Shakespeare's Henry V.
It's a very, very Joss thing to do, to mention Shakespeare, because he loves this Shakespeare.
Well, so does Spike, I guess. He likes his literature. He's
probably around. Well,
was he around
talking about the original tortured poet.
Yes. It was very effulgent of him, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, the famous St. Crispin's Day speech by King Henry V in William Shakespeare's Henry V, the Battle of Agincourt. So I'm not going to read it out because it's quite long.
Yes.
But yeah, basically it's a very famous speech in the play. I think it's kind of the money shot of the play, like the most famous, to be, not to be.
Yeah.
Well,
is there something about Band of Brothers or
he
Bugged?
mentioned Band of Bugged.
I can't remember. I don't know.
I think it was a gay porno, wasn't it? No, yeah, it mentions we are. I was going to mention that part only. I'm not going to say the whole thing. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. To he, what?
That's it. That's what. So
yeah, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he shall near so vile. Something like that.
Yeah. So Giles says the first part of that, doesn't he? He said,
we few, we happy few, we band of brothers.
No. He says, we few, we happy few. And then Spike says, we band of brothers.
Oh, okay. So they both know their Shakespeare. Well, I'm not surprised about Giles, actually.
Why would you be surprised about
Spike?
Spike.
Well, actually, I'm not surprised about any of them. I should probably say that. I'm not surprised about any of them.
Original tortured poet probably actually went and saw a few Shakespeare plays.
Probably knew him. Yeah. If he's a real person.
I'm pretty sure he's a real person.
You ever heard that one? That I'm sure if Shakespeare was a real person, or was it a production company? Or ever heard that one? No, yeah, that's something.
I have heard maybe he didn't actually write it all. He was kind of.
Well, maybe that's more like
taking credit.
Well, maybe it was a group like Shakespeare's production, like a lot of people.
It was more than one person. Kind of like how you have writers nowadays. Like when there's big, say for the Babysitters Club is an example of this, where it's. You've got Anne, I can't remember what the author's name is, Anne something or other, and her name is on all the books, but she only wrote the first book,
right?
And then there's a team of writers that wrote all the rest of them. It's a company that wrote the rest of them.
Probably something similar, but so that speech was meant to be the inspirational speech to lead the guys in the battle, and that's the speech they didn't really get. I think other than if anyone goes near door and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, well, it's funny because in the I think in season 7 she goes overboard on the speeches. It's quite funny. And then there's kind of a few jokes about how many speeches she does.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I was actually watching a movie. I think it was like a 1989 film. And Patrick Bale was in it.
Little Bateman, baby.
Yeah.
Baby.
Sorry, not Patrick.
Baby.
Christian Bale, sorry.
Christian Bale. Baby Christian Bale.
Yeah. I recognised his face straight away. I was just watching going, He would have been like, I don't know, 13 or something, I think. Yeah.
Maybe younger.
It had Brian Blessed in it too. I thought maybe he was going to play Henry V. You know, the booming voice that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it looks like, who was it? It was
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
He's been in heaps of films.
Yeah. He's in everything.
Everything, yeah. Yeah, so that was my little rabbit hole. Henry V. No spoilers.
No spoilers. Do they win the war? Do they win the battle?
Actually, I don't know. Do they?
Well, that's where I think they get the TV show. Remember, that's called The Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. That's about World War II, though.
Yeah, but it's about them being together. That's where the term comes from. Is
Yeah,
Band of
I'd
Brothers.
imagine so, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Another little tidbit was that My Own Private Idaho is loosely based on it.
I thought it was based on a different one.
I think it's Henry III or something, Richard III, or like I think a few Shakespearean plays, but it is mentioned that Henry V is a little bit in there too. I don't know what, other than maybe quoting the film. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a really long time.
I don't think it was that great, to be honest.
I understand. Let's get on with it.
Let's get into question time.
Yes, question time.
Let's do it.
Answer the question.
All right, Jarrod. Which character was your favourite?
I liked Glory in this
Yeah?
episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Buffy
Buffy.
because she's our main girl. And I very rarely go Buffy as the
I try not to
favourite.
go Buffy. I just feel like it's a little lazy. But yeah. I
For
get
this
that.
one, I'm going to go Buffy because I feel like everyone kind of equally got a bit of time in this episode. Which character do you love to hate?
Doc.
Yeah, I went Doc.
Yeah.
Pointless character of the series award goes to Doc.
And a real shame because great actor. Underutilized.
Yeah.
So.
Would have been good if he was in it a bit more. Maybe that would have made more sense.
Yeah, yeah. Because the minions were kind of just, just typical, yes, Matthew,
Yep.
minions.
LOL moment.
I thought Anya shitting herself at the bunny.
Oh, that's what I have
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Well, it was pretty dry this episode,
Yeah.
so it was probably the only funny moment, I think.
Yeah.
So that probably makes sense.
Frighten me like that. God, who would put something like that there? Is this supposed to be some sort of sick joke? I mean, things aren't bad enough.
Favorite fight scene.
Well, I thought the Glory versus Buffy bot was probably the best one.
Yeah, I actually like when they're a bit further up on the tower.
Oh, actually, yeah. No,
And Buffy
yeah.
is like,
swinging off the
where
things
she's
and-
kind of swinging around with the hammer
Yeah. No, that was better.
and smacking
yeah.
her about with it.
What am I talking about? That scene was over in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is she didn't do it alone. This, the last season she didn't do it alone, and this season she didn't do it alone either, which sort of cements the fact that she is stronger with her friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite scene.
The intro scene, I felt, showing a clip from every episode and everything leading up to now.
Oh,
was
the
a
previous Leon.
Nice, yeah. No, actually, I thought that was pretty cool. That was a nice
Okay.
build up into the last episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool actually. Yeah, I've already said I really love that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with the really sappy, just because it makes me cry. Buffy working out the way to close the portal and her just running and jumping. It's kind of I just think it's actually a really cool shot.
She just charges for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No hesitation.
Yeah. What is your least favourite scene?
Well, it's a pretty solid episode. So to say your least favourite, maybe just when she's fighting the vampire at the start.
Yeah, I kind of like that. It's a
nothing
lovely little callback.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know. Just it's a pretty intense episode, so there's no real downtime in it. So
Yeah.
that's all I could really come up with. It's not a bad scene.
Yeah, I went with the Xander proposing,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
mainly because I know where it leads.
Okay, all right. Say no more.
Maybe that's the problem. I'm biased, but I will give it to Xander. He was pretty well behaved in this. Normally, when there's sort of like these really deep kind of ethical questions that are raised. Like he doesn't push killing Dawn.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't.
He's pretty quiet, to be honest.
Yeah. He didn't jump on the side of Giles and to be like, "Hey, Buffy, you're being an idiot," which is normally what he does in those situations.
Yeah.
He didn't do that this time, and he's the one he brought up killing Ben. And when Buffy was like, "I don't know, I don't think he'll show his face at this time. Like he'll be pretty much out of the picture." He also didn't pitch it, like he didn't push it then either.
Yeah.
So he was actually very well behaved in this episode. Like, not too much Xander slander for this one.
No, Xander slander. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah. Favorite quote?
Mine's actually between Xander. When they're discussing about how they're going to take down Glory, Xander's like, "Hey, I happen to be," Spike replies, "a glorified bricklayer." And it says, "I'm a swell bowler." And Anya replies, "He has his own shoes." Nice little. Spike replies, "The gods themselves do tremble."
I've got the one from Glory after she punches the head off the Buffy bot. And it's that, wow, the Slayer's a robot. Did everyone else know the Slayer was a robot? And then you hear Buffy from behind. It's like, "Glory," and hits her with the Olaf hammer. And it's like, "You're not the brightest god in the heavens, are you?"
Lowering myself to trade blows with the Slayer when I should have just put my fist through her heart.
Who gets the wooden spoon?
I gave it to Doc.
Yeah. Oh, I reckon we give it to Doc.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not going to argue that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, lucky me.
I did have someone different down, but I think when it comes to wooden spoon, only one person can really get it. We don't, unless...
The rules are pretty flexible, Eddie.
I don't have a good argument for my answer, whereas I
Okay.
think Doc, he's probably a bit more... Like, he
Kinda
didn't have
useless.
to be there. He didn't have to be there. He was just being a dick. Like, literally, that's all he was. He was just there to be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, the god was dead by the time he'd done his little shallow cuts. That wasn't fucking creepy either. The shallow cut. That's fucking creepy.
Shallow cuts. Shallow cuts.
Who's the MVP of the episode?
Well, it's Buffy, isn't it? Has to be Buffy. Well, maybe we could just say the Scoobs. Because everyone...
Look, it's hard to actually pick one. Because again, I think like what we did for the season 4 wasn't really the final, but their final battle with Adam. I think we gave it to all of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Scoobs, yeah. Maybe, just the Scoobs. Everyone played their part.
Yeah, everyone played a part. No one was really a main player in this. Yeah, we'll give it team effort for this one.
Team Avatar. I mean, Team Scoobs.
Team Avatar. Exactly. Okay. What do you rate this episode out of 10?
I give it 9 God Hammers.
Yeah, I gave it 9 out of 10 cartoon wrecking ball moments. The funny thing is that I think Anya brings up dropping a piano on her head, like in a cartoon.
Oh, yes.
Because she mentions the nice bald guy with the speech impediments always dropping pianos on people.
I'm a fud.
Yes. But she calls him the nice bald guy with the speech impediment.
Is he really dropping pianos, people? I'm just trying to think. Isn't he usually the one getting a piano dropped on him?
Yeah, but I don't know. There's always pianos dropping in those cartoons.
It's probably Daffy probably gets more pianos dropped than him.
But
than anyone.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's the what she was getting at. And then we get this cartoon wrecking ball.
Did he have to ride on the wrecking ball?
What?
Did he have to ride on the wrecking ball? Oh, he wasn't riding on it.
He wasn't riding on it at all. What are you talking about? He wasn't naked and...
I don't know why I have this image of him riding on it. Like, I don't know why.
No,
it
he
just
was,
popped in my
he
head.
was in the cabin
He was
operating
in the cabin.
it.
Yes, he was.
And then I was sitting there going, I don't think... Do they have wrecking balls in Australia? I don't think I've ever seen a wrecking ball being used. I've seen and the thing is, I've seen houses get demolished, but it's normally just a bulldozer.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's usually just a bulldozer. Yeah.
But then again, I've never seen like huge, big buildings being knocked down, but I don't think they would probably...
Don't they just blow them up?
Yeah,
usually?
I think they normally blow up. No, they implode them.
Yeah, implode them.
Yes, so,
Right.
and because it is
Yeah, because it's
the final episode
Yeah,
of
we
the season,
gotta
I've
do
got
this
some additional questions.
special season finale questions. Yes. All right. Let's roll those ones out, Eddie. What have we got?
Okay. What do you rate the season overall out of 10?
Out of 10. I don't know, maybe 6, 7, I guess.
Yeah, I give it a 4.
A 4. Ooh.
4.
Okay. All right.
I honestly put this at the bottom.
Oh, all right.
if I
I'm
have
just
to-
trying to be general here.
If I have to put my ranking of seasons, 5 is actually
See,
last.
because I don't know how to compare. It's hard to sort of rate a whole season because I don't know where it compares to the other ones. Is it the best season I've seen so far? It's so hard to remember more than once, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said 5, 6, 7. 4, huh? That's harsh.
Yeah. I reckon we'll get through the next season pretty quickly
Okay.
because, season 6, as I said, favourite season. There's a bit more
Bit more going on?
going on.
Right.
Favourite episode of the season or maybe I could do favourite episode of the season and one that stands out.
Well, there was a few in there. I guess the body's got to be really up there.
Yeah.
As like the standout episode. But there were some other ones that I liked. The Xander and his twin brother.
The replacement.
The replacement.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nice fun episode. Like,
Yeah.
is it lighthearted? You don't have to be so serious. Like, that's like two different spectrums, the body and the replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sort of those episodes. I even like the Dracula one, the idea
Yeah,
of Dracula
yeah,
being in there,
yeah.
the first episode. So
I kind of wish he was in it a bit more, to be honest.
it would have been, it could have been something they really could have played with. I think we said that back then. It was disappointing that they didn't really lean too hard on it. I mean, because you can do what you want with that character. It's in the public domain, so you can go nuts with it.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately they didn't. But even the last couple episodes are quite good too. Like even this episode. So yeah.
Well, this episode is probably one of those episodes that will be in, like when I say like within the fandom, a lot of people would name this as one of their favourite episodes.
Right. Okay. Well, I get that. Yeah.
Or it'll be and most people in the fandom, this episode will be in like their top 10.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was always surprised because this isn't an episode I'd put in my top 10. But it's still a good episode. But yeah, so for me, this season, the episodes that really stand out is similar to you, The Replacements, Buffy versus Dracula, but Fall for Love, the one with Spike, where you see Spike's backstory.
Yeah.
That's really a real standout one. Almost like
Very effulgent.
we've already been quoting the damn episode in this. Like we've already quoted it in this like episode, not realizing that we're going to bring it up as a favorite episode. But you know, you also have him. 1980s like punk Spike is like the hottest Spike. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, Fall for Love. And yeah, the body, like groundbreaking episode. Like you're seeing a moment you shouldn't be seeing.
Yeah. Very confronting and unsettling and hard to watch that episode. But
it's a space. It's that space within, like you don't normally see that on TV because it's that time. Yeah, you're never shown that space.
Yeah.
Or that time because it's boring.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
yeah.
moment in time, it's boring. You don't want to see that.
No,
like,
but they did a whole episode on it. Yeah.
You've got an hour TV show, so why are you showing
42 minutes?
Yeah, the monotony around someone dying. Like,
Yeah.
who would ever do that? Yeah. So yeah, but it's definitely a real work of art. Yeah. And what do you rate The Big Bad?
Is that out of 10, is it? Or is it
Yeah, out of 10.
Oh, I don't know, like 8, I guess, maybe. She's a pretty formidable villain. Didn't get enough of her, though, I felt.
Yeah.
That's probably the only downside to her character.
Yeah, I give her a 9 out of 10. She's a great big bad. Like, look, and I think if you're comparing her to who we've had in the past, she's better than Adam. She's probably on par with the Mayor.
Yeah.
And the Master. I can give or take the Master.
Yeah.
It's hard because we weren't with him for, like, we only had 12
Yeah, and
episodes.
And of those 12 episodes, he wasn't in it every one as well. So yeah.
Like, yeah, he feels very minor in comparison.
Kind of seems like the old school villain, like a Dracula type of character. So
Yeah.
nothing too original about him, really.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, well, I'll say the other thing about Glory, just speaking on Glory, is, yeah, she is a formidable bad guy. Like, they really, really had to think of strategies to defeat her. Like, you know, Adam was like a tough bad guy, but they came up with this spell.
Yeah.
To kind of defeat him. Whereas this time they had to really, as Anya put it, think outside the box.
Yeah.
And they had to come up. And it was good the way that they had set up a lot of these things throughout the season to use against her.
Yeah, and that's sort of all coming back together at the end, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah. But even just little things like Xander getting a job in construction, like that plays into it. Like,
yeah.
all these like really little things. Even Anya getting a job at working at the Magic Box,
And she knew she remembered the Dagon sphere and stuff like
and
that.
her getting all into consumerism and capitalism.
Yeah. It all helped.
She was using all the think outside your box, outside the box. Brainstorming, using all those nice little buzzwords. So I quite like that. The structure of how they ended up defeating her on the troll hammer, obvious one, to the Buffy bot, which you wouldn't have thought. I think that actually surprised me. Was the Buffy bot?
No, I had when I saw her there, I had a feeling they were going to use her some way, but I'd forgotten about her by the time they'd gotten to the fight.
Yeah.
But when they showed her, I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. I mean, I think I liked that. That was just a nice, tiny little twist that we get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
Okay. Favorite character of the season?
Well, it's got to be Glory, I think. Even the Glory Ben sort of character, although Ben was a bit sort of...
I don't feel like Ben got enough characterization, to be honest.
It just seemed a bit of a Riley clone.
Yeah.
In some ways, he seemed like he was leading on to be some sort of love interest.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah.
Another boring guy.
The boring normal guy. Look, I actually think someone who gets a lot of character development in this season is Spike.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of went, I think Spike is a bit of a standout, but the one person that I'm forgetting is that Harmony is in this season.
Yes.
In the early episodes. And she's fantastic in those early episodes. Like, she's so funny. Like, there is a series of kind of 3 episodes that were a real slog to get through, if you remember correctly, because they are just awful episodes.
Yeah.
But then I think they are surrounded by these Harmony episodes.
To sort of lighten it up a bit.
Lighten things up a bit.
Yeah. And she's in Angel at this point, isn't she?
I think she might have had 1 episode on Angel.
Right.
She doesn't go in. She kind of becomes a main character in the final season of Angel.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, is that it?
I think that's it.
Wow. Okay. One final thing, Eddie, we've got to do. So you mentioned in last week that maybe we have a little break from Buffy and we do a couple of movie
we might
reviews.
do 2. We might do 2 movies before we go into season 6.
Oh, okay. Well, I like the sound of that.
Just to give you a little palate cleanse. Because
You talking about me or?
Yes. Just because we go in, it's a double episode. The first episode of Buffy. It's a double episode.
Okay. All right. So I've got the cup in my hand, Eddie.
I think it's my turn to pick, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, Eddie. Come on. All right.
Can you just check if there's any spiders in there?
No, there's no spiders in there.
Or is it the joys of living in Australia?
Right. Shake it up. I can see Jurassic Park there. I don't want that one.
Oh, come on. You're looking at them.
Just mixing it up. All right. Here we go. Eddie? What have we got, Eddie?
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, my God.
So this is Jarrod's favourite movie. Oh,
I haven't seen that one in a while.
It used to be your favourite movie.
It still is. It's fucking Terry Gilliam shit. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Well, I haven't watched that movie sober in a long time.
Yeah, this is going to remind me of when we first started seeing each other.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
All right. Well,
Oh, did we want to pick another one or?
no, we'll pick that next week. Pick it next
Okay.
week. All
All
right.
right.
So, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Wow, that would be good to watch that, actually. The kids are going to have to be in bed for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
All
not,
right.
I'm not looking forward to
No,
this.
all right. Well, look, I'm going to wrap this up now because this is going to be a long one. So, well, that was a long one. So, I hope you've enjoyed listening to us tonight. We are Nerd Subculture. My name is Jarrod.
And I'm Edwina.
And if you like what you're listening to, what can you do, Edwina?
Well, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and there is a Facebook page. And if you want to help out the podcast, please follow the link tree on the socials to the merch store.
Right. So, yeah, what Eddie said, that sounds great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Till next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Cuts. Let the blood flow.